My name is Shadi Seeley.
Zahir Motara.
Amber De Sylvia.
Jerome Hoyte.
I'm Crystal Holler, and I'm in studio with Sports Therapy 101.
So, like I said, my name is Jerome Hoyte. I first got involved in wrestling because when I finished school in 2006, I was an athlete there and I wanted to continue to be active. So I was looking around for other sports that I could probably do to keep active. And I was reading the paper one day and I saw an ad for wrestling. And I was like, maybe I should give this a try. And at the time, there was a guy by the name of Vincent Smith who was teaching. So points. So you have different moves that you can do, and depending on the move that you do, you can garner 1 point or 3 points. So the more impressive the move is, the more points you gain. So if you can lift your opponent up in the air, as an example, and slam them into the ground, then that's 3 points. So then as soon as you get to 3 points, that's it. You won. In terms of the grappling, you can go on your back, right? Because in grappling, you can fight off your back and stuff like that. Well, in grappling, you try to submit your opponent. So in other words, you basically do a bunch of different locks or different pins. Because in submission wrestling, you can win by points or you can win by submission. And usually when you submit somebody, they tap. They either tap you, they tap the mat, or they verbally say tap. And in this case, like that, once you say tap, the referee usually stops the match, which means that if you said it, or your opponent, if they said it, they basically give up. In representing Barbados for my first time, I would say it was a big experience in terms of it gave me opportunity to see other elite level wrestlers, because at the time, coming from Barbados, a small country, it's pretty tough to reach a level like that. And being that they have thousands of people that they can train with, then I have to find creative ways in order to try to match or meet their level, or even excel if it possibly could. So for me, it was a big learning experience, and it taught me a lot in terms of how to prepare for matches. It helped me to get connections. So maybe you will meet other elite wrestlers, and you would connect with them, get their contact info, maybe shoot different ideas, different ways to train, how to eat right, that sort of stuff. So for me, it was a great experience. And for me, I tried to, because for my mentality as a wrestler, I try to reach the goals that I have for myself personally. So even if most people might think, well, I'm from a small country and I may not make it, in my mind, I've already made it, in terms of there are a lot of people that maybe find it hard to do what I do and have the mentality to reach the levels that I would like to reach or try to reach. So in terms of preparation, for instance, a lot of people say that they would like to reach this level, but they most of the time they don't, because their mentality isn't right. But for me, if I'm reaching that level, I will put everything I possibly can into doing it. And from my experience, I would say it was nice. Honestly, it was nice. As a athlete slash coach, in terms of separating two, I find it is not that difficult, because as an athlete coming from the beginning, you basically have the foundation in order to build on the coaching side. Because as a coach, you should know your moves and your different techniques and stuff like that. So for me, it wasn't that difficult, because coming up in terms of like the wrestling, I found it easier for me because it's something that I love to do and I love to teach people. I like to teach people and see them progress. And even if they could surpass me, it makes me feel proud, because then I know I'm doing something right. So for me, it is not too different in terms of coaching and being an athlete. For me, I find it easier to separate the two, and also to mesh them together in certain situations. So what I have learned as an athlete is going to help me towards coaching. And is not to say that as an athlete you can coach, but sometimes it helps to be in that sphere first, so that when you transition to coaching, you already know what it takes to help the athlete and what the athletes feel at the point in time, because you don't always know the athlete's side of the sport, in being in the sport. In terms of anyone who is interested in competing in wrestling, there are a few people that come to mind that you can probably contact. There's a Miss Yaima Payne. She teaches kids, and she also teaches adults. She specifies in the mat wrestling or freestyle wrestling, and she also teaches beach wrestling too as well. She's currently training our teenage athletes for the next Olympics and other competitions in between. The other person that comes to mind would be Rollins Allen. He is the president of the Barbados Wrestling Association. We have a website that you can go to, or our Instagram page. If you type in Barbados Wrestling, then you'll be able to find and message, and then somebody will get back to you in terms of who to go to, depending on what discipline of wrestling you would partake in. So if you wanted to partake in beach, or if you wanted to partake in freestyle wrestling, or even if you want to partake in submission wrestling, they would point you in the right direction. Studio with Sports Therapy 101.